Robbie, AFTV, at the offices of AFTV at the moment, and we've all sort of today just been digesting the news that it's looking almost certain that the new manager of Arsenal is going to be Mikel Arteta. Of course, Arteta, former Arsenal captain, and number 2 now at Manchester City to Pep Guardiola, and it's looking like he's going to be the new manager. And we've been talking about it all day. We've been digesting the news. Everybody on social media has been talking about it. And of course, what can I say? The response to it has been mixed at best. We've been wanting a manager, obviously, since the sacking of Unai Emery. And all the big names have been reeled out. We've talked about Allegri. We've talked about Pochettino, Ancelotti, all these big names that we would love to see come in. Brendan Rodgers was mentioned for a time, but it does look like it's going to be Mikel Arteta. And I have to be 100% honest that at first, when I heard that it's going to be Arteta, I was like, Arteta? I wasn't inspired by it. And then I thought to myself that, Arsenal at the moment are a club in a crisis. Make no mistake, it's a crisis at the moment. This is our worst form since 1977. That's before most people who are probably watching this video were born. And we're in a crisis, and you just look on it and you say to yourself, we need somebody right now who's experienced. We need a big name that's going to come in and get hold of this football club and drive it forward. But it looks like the board have decided to go for Mikel Arteta. Arteta, of course, is the person that they were going for originally before they got Unai Emery, and then, of course, they ended up getting Emery. Now, how I look on it is this. Arteta is going to be the new manager of Arsenal, and when he comes in, every single Arsenal fan has to get behind him. We really, really have to get behind him. He's got a big job on his hands. Big task on his hands. We've seen what we've seen this season, and it's been, quite frankly, at times horrendous. We saw at the weekend a big gap between a team like Manchester City and Arsenal, and the way in which they turned us over so easily. We've seen teams come to the Emirates this season, and again, not just the Emirates, everywhere, and really fancy themselves against Arsenal. We've really gone backwards of a football club. And the hope is that when Arteta comes in, he can turn it around. Now, he doesn't have the experience of the Ancelottis and the Allegris and people like that, but we've got to get behind him. We really have to get behind him. And you know what? The more and more I think about it, it could be an inspired choice. I mean, first of all, think about this. He finished playing for Arsenal, and immediately Pep Guardiola went in and got him and brought him in as number 2 at Manchester City. Now, why would Guardiola do that if he didn't know something about this guy and know something about his character? To bring him from Arsenal Football Club straight into Man City and say, right, you are my number 2. That tells you a lot about Arteta. The other thing is I remember when Arteta was at Arsenal, and he was captain, and I remember saying to somebody who's sort of, behind the scenes at Arsenal, and I never forget it. I never forget it. I asked him, I said, why Arteta as captain? And I remember he clearly said to me, he goes, Robbie, that guy has leadership qualities. He told me that then. This was before Pep. This was before he was being asked about to manage. He said to me then, Arteta has leadership qualities. And as I said, he went in as number 2 to Pep Guardiola, and there's been all this talk for quite a long time behind the scenes in football that this guy is set to be a manager of a big club. This guy will be a manager one day. So it looks like he's going to get his opportunity now, and he's going to get it at a very big club. Now let's look at the pros, because I'm trying to be positive in this video and not just be positive for positive's sake. I mean, Be positive, because there are some things to be positives about. One of the pros is, of course, Arteta was an Arsenal player and the Arsenal captain, and he knows all about Arsenal. He knows about the setup of Arsenal. He knows about the club, the training ground. He knows and understands all of that. Another con, of course, or another pro, of course, is the fact that he's been number 2 under Pep Guardiola. Last year, of course, Manchester City won every single trophy there was to go for domestically. And he was number 2 to that. So he's going to have a winning mentality. And that's one thing that's really been lacking at this football club, is that winning mentality. I like the fact that when he was being spoken about for this job, one of the things that has come out is that he's been quite clear that he wants guarantees on certain things. And I like that. He didn't just say, oh yeah, I'll take the job. Brilliant, it's Arsenal. He's like, I'm interested, but I want this, and I want this, and I want this. Now, we don't know exactly what those things are, but obviously I'm thinking to myself, it must be something to do with, obviously, personnel coaching-wise, but also personnel as in the team going forward. And Mikel Arteta looks like a serious guy. And as I said, he's been working for a serious manager. And I don't know what it is, but I just get the feeling he's going to come in and he will not be frightened to make some of those changes that are required. There's a lot of people saying, oh, Arsenal have only got him because, he's going to be a yes man or what. I don't know. I've just got this feeling about him that he's going to be his own man. And that's got something, I think, to do with the fact that he's been working for Pep Guardiola. He's seen the organisation of Manchester City, how well organised they are. He's seen, he's worked with players and he's seen that winning mentality. And I've just got a feeling that he's going to bring that to the club. Now, of course, he lacks experience as a manager. Number 2s are number 2s. We've seen over the years, Manchester United, how many number 2s like Carlos Queiroz and all these guys that were number 2, Brian Kidd, to Fergie, went and did it on their own and they bombed. Paul Clement, number 2 to Ancelotti at Bayern Munich and Real Madrid, went and done it on his own and bombed. But we don't know what's going to happen, to be honest, but this guy looks like a guy that's going to be focused and looks like a guy that's going to be determined. And he's going to have no experience. And I personally thought that we needed somebody with experience because the club's in such a mess. But what he will have is fresh eyes. He'll know what's gone on before. He's been a manager under Arsene Wenger. He's been a manager under Pep Guardiola. And I think he might be quite visionary. Now, in a way, I kind of like the fact that he's so young. We talk about these managers around Europe, that these young, hungry managers like Nagelsmann and Thomas Tuchel and, Ten Hag, young managers that are really doing brilliant things in the game. Arteta could be one. And I know it's just like, it seems like we're just dropping this guy straight from Manchester City right into the deep end of Arsenal. And I know that this club is not Man City and we don't have the Man City players, but I don't know what it is, but the more I keep thinking about it, I just got a little feeling that Mikel Arteta might just come into Arsenal Football Club and surprise a few people. Remember when Arsene Wenger first came at Arsenal? I do. I can remember it clearly. I was like, where did he manage? Japan. I was like, are you joking? And look what he came in and did. Remember when every Arsenal fan last season, or not every, but practically every Arsenal fan, when you went up to them and said, what do you reckon of Brendan Rodgers taking over at Arsenal? No, we don't want him. No, we don't want Brendan Rodgers, but look what he's doing at Leicester. Would you not have had him now? So I think it's the same in this case. We've got to give Mikel Arteta a chance. We've got to get behind him. He's got a tough task behind him, or shall I say in front of him, and he's going to need all the support from all the fans. We will judge him. We will judge him as time goes along. right? And if time goes along and he's not performing, the fans will say their piece. But if time's going along and he's doing brilliantly, fans will say their piece as well. So that's why I feel that at this stage, now that we know that it's looking more than likely that it's going to be Mikel Arteta, the fans need to get behind him. There's no point in moaning about we should have got Allegri, we should have got Pochettino, why didn't we get Ancelotti? We have to give this guy a chance, right? And I'm hoping that once he's announced that every Arsenal fan does do that. And as I said, you never know. You never know. There's other managers that have come into clubs that have been facing a pro. When Pep Guardiola first came in at Barcelona was a bit on the slide. He came in, a lot of people was thinking, oh, who did he manage? The youth team, the second team. What's he going to do? Turns out to be the best manager in the world. So we don't know. We really don't know. When Zidane went in at Real Madrid, ex-player, a lot of people saying, no, but Zidane, he just seems such a quiet guy. Well, what's he going to do? Look what he did. Look what he led them to. You know, back-to-back Champions Leagues. So it's too early to talk about anything like that to do with us. But even if this guy can inspire us to have a strong second half of the season, get us organised, get us stable again, start to build, start to plan. Because I believe the problem with Arsenal is not even just been necessarily the managers, it's been the problem that there's no plan. Maybe Arteta might be that guy to come in with a plan, and maybe he might be the guy who comes in and gets this board to really start moving in a certain direction. And maybe he might be the guy who gets in and gets Arsenal playing to a certain philosophy and a certain identity, because we've lost our identity. And maybe him as an ex-player who knows what it's all about at Arsenal, knows about the traditions, but also from working under Pep Guardiola, knows about winning mentality, knows about great style of football, knows about getting the best out of certain players. Maybe he could be the one. So for me, this is my personal opinion. Everybody's going to have their own opinion, but I would really love Arsenal fans to get behind Mikel Arteta. He doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the huge name, but he's going to be one of ours. And let's see what he can do. We can judge him later on, but right now, we've got to get behind him. What do you guys think? Is it going to be a good appointment, yes or no? We'll do a little poll on it as well. Leave your comments below. Tell us if you, now that you're thinking that it's going to be him, if you're, as you're learning more about him, as you're seeing more about him, if you're feeling a bit better about it, or do you think we should have went for one of those sort of more established names? We'd love to hear from you guys. But it's looking like it's going to be Mikel Arteta, and if he does come in, let's hope he can get this great club back on track.